What's up, people? Good morning. Welcome to English 1101. I will be your instructor. My name is Jeremiah Byers. I'll refer to myself. Oh, sorry, it was like a little earthquake. I'll refer to myself as JB in emails and correspondences to you. Um, I am not a professor because I do not have a doctorate. I'm an instructor. I've been instructing college English for 15 years, and I've been a high school teacher for about 16 years, 17 years. So I do that also. I work for Gwinnett County Public Schools. I work at Parkview High School. Most of my lectures will be recorded in my classroom. This one being the first one is recorded here in the home office. So this week, I'm going to get you acclimated to the class. I'm going to show you around the online classroom and how you should navigate. And then I'm also going to go over some instructions for your first assignment. Every week, I will post a lecture where I go over what you're doing that week, and I'll go over the main concepts and what you need to know. And I'm not about throwing curveballs. I'm not about trying to make you guess. I'm very specific in what I am teaching and looking for and how I'm going to grade you. So as long as you watch the lectures every single week, all the way through, and follow and apply the things I talk about, you'll be fine. All right, this class, for some of you, probably a lot of you, this is dual enrollment. So you're taking high school courses as well as college classes. Others of you, this is your first semester of college from graduating high school. And then also many of you, this is your first year of college after a long break from high school. So regardless, um, as long as you watch the lectures every week, then you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I am not drawing on anything that you have, especially since this is 1101. There's nothing that I am relying on that you've already learned. Okay, with the exception of like middle school grammar. But for the most part, though, I am teaching you everything. If this was 1102, then we would begin that with the expectation of you having learned a few things from 1101. But this is essentially your first college semester class of classes. Then I'm going to take you from the position of just assuming you know nothing. So as long as you watch all my lectures and you follow and apply all the things I discuss in them, you'll be great. Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm under the weather. School's been back for 2 weeks, the high school, and I'm already infected with their disease, the disease of the youth. So I have my sore throat spray and all that. So if you notice any glitches, that's just me having paused the recording to then dab myself up with some of this spray or getting some water or whatever. Okay. Sorry. I think this is the first time I've ever recorded a lecture already being sick. All right, so here we go. I'm going to share my screen so you can see how I navigate the class. All right, when you log in to Blackboard, the first thing you should always look at is the announcements page. Okay, and here is where I'll post the weekly announcements and I'll post the lecture links. So here I already have a little message written for you. You probably have already seen this. And here I'll lay out what we're doing that week, what you should be working on, and a link to the lecture. And these are always emailed out to you. From here, you'll go up to where it says weekly lessons, and click. Okay. So you'll see on this page, you'll see this very important document, list of assignments and due dates. Okay, this, and then you will have all of our weekly folders. Now, I have week 2 through week 16 hidden from you. So I don't know if you can see those or if they're hidden in the sense that like you can't access them. You might go to this page and all you see is list of assignments and due dates and then week 1. So this class is not really designed for you to move ahead, okay? Because so much of the work for each week depends on what I go over in the lectures. And in the past, when I have not limited access, I've allowed total free access to all the weeks, students would complete work early, but prior to watching my lectures, and they would end up doing it incorrectly. So then either they would have to go back in and redo it, or they receive lower grades. So I learned that I just needed to limit access to the future weeks to keep people, to make sure that people were watching the lectures and applying the things I was asking them to do. This is not a self-paced class. This is not a class where we start week 1 and you can try to finish it, the whole class, the whole course in just 2 weeks. Okay, so I am limiting what you can do each week, and I want you to just focus on week by week. Okay. So what you should do now is download this very important document, list of assignments and due dates. So, okay. When you open it up, you'll see this. English 1101 Fall 2024 assignments and due dates. Okay. So you'll see this chart. On one column, we have the week numbers. So you know it's week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. This is the starting date of that week. I start my weeks on Mondays. Monday is the beginning of the week. So 8/19, 8/26, September 2nd. Some classes start their week on Sundays. So if you have multiple online classes, you need to make sure you check to see what day of the week is their starting day. Okay, mine, Mondays. Here you'll have the lecture topics. These are so far planned out of what I'll discuss in each week lecture. Now, some of this could change. Obviously, I could add some of these things. I can move some of them around. Sometimes I have them in 2 different places. Like here, I have paraphrasing and paraphrasing. I have parenthetical citations in here. And that just means that like telling myself that like if I don't get to this on week 8, I can easily just do it here in week 9. Okay. I'm not going to do 2 lessons in a row on those things. Okay. So you can have an idea of the topics in which I'm going to discuss. All right. So that is this column, lecture topics. Next column is assignments and readings to complete for that week. This is your to-do list. I'm all about to-do lists in my own personal life. So this tells you what needs to be done. The highlighted numbers, assignments, I guess you could say, are grades. These are grades. So the welcome quiz is a grade for this week. Complete reading analysis 1 is a grade for this week. Week 2, these are grades. If you don't do those, you'll receive zeros. So this tells you all the grades for each week. Okay. It tells you when the essays are due. So this is very important. Okay. And then we have the due date when things are due. And I'll go over more about due dates in a little bit. So like this week, you have like, which means, so if this is a grade and this is a grade, well, 2 through 8, that's all reading. That's all just reading. Okay. And 10, find a memoir to read. I'm going to go over that also. All right. So this is the only thing that you need to pay attention to in terms of when things are due. All right. You should always refer to this sheet. Um, there is a standard 1101 class that is made by the university that is designed for people who never taught 1101 before, and if they don't know what to teach or whatever, the school has already designed a course. Then there's the freedom for teachers who have already taught the class to modify it the way that they want to modify it. Okay, so I do that. I modify the class and I teach it the way that I want to teach it. Now, sometimes in the school calendar online on the Blackboard page, there are, like, I think there's a calendar, a lingo here somewhere. I don't use it, or I might have hidden it. So sometimes students will find this random like assignment that they see on a calendar somewhere for the class, and they'll think they have to do that assignment. And then they're like, I don't know where to submit it. And it's because that's not an actual assignment for my class. That's just a random previously posted assignment that's not actually required for my course. So the only thing that you ever have to do for my class is look at this column. You only complete things that are listed here. All right, each week. Those are the things that are to do. If it's highlighted, it's a grade. If it's not highlighted, it's a reading. And if you find something randomly placed, like I don't like, it's like post a discussion on the story. If that's not here, then you're not doing that. Okay. If somebody in a different level 1 class is like a friend of yours is talking about how they have to, do this random assignment for this random piece of reading, you don't have to do that if it's not listed here. Okay. So this is always where you need to look about what's due. Okay. Cool. Let me know if you have any questions about that. So that's a very important document. That's why it's not in a specific folder for the week. It is all on its own. All right. So now let's look at the week 1 folder. First thing you need to do is look at the syllabus. It's right here. Syllabus. You can read this information right here. Read. And then part 3. Here we go. Now, I'm going to summarize real fast part 1 and part 2 for the most part. You should still read this, but just understand English 1101 and English 1102. These are writing classes. These are college writing courses, way more than they are like literature classes. Okay. English 1101 and 1102, these are foundational classes to prepare you for all the writing that you're going to be completing in college, whether that is finishing your degree here or transferring to a university. Things we do in this class are expected to be learned and applied in your other classes. So in this class, we talk about formatting papers. We talk about integrating quotes. We talk about using sources, outside sources, to prove our arguments, to justify our interpretations. These are things you'll be using. These are skills you'll be using in other classes. We do not talk about or emphasize creative writing or writing poetry or literary writing. We don't write short stories. Okay. It's all in the realm of academic writing. Okay. So if you're like, I hate, flowery poetry and fluff and vivid imagery and stuff, I get it. Okay. That's not what we're doing in this class. And if you're somebody who wants to be a writer, who wants to write creatively and write poetry, which I love, I mean, I was an English major, I love that stuff, then I don't want to get your hopes up. We're not doing that in this class. You can take future English classes where you do more creative writing. But I just want to be very clear that English 1101 and 1102 prepare you to be academic writers. So that way you're prepared to write papers, in formal papers in your psychology classes, your history classes, sociology courses, philosophy, all those other classes that you'll be taking, business classes. All right. Now, part 3, instructor policies. Make sure we open this up. I'm downloading my own document, even though I wrote it and I have it, but still want to show you. All right. So these are my main points, important policies to understand. It's my email address. Email me anytime. Email me, ask questions. Okay. So lectures are required to be watched. All right. Anything I say in a lecture has to be applied in your work. All right. So you will lose points in your work if you do not apply the things I've taught from my lectures into your work. All right. Email me and I'll get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. You should be emailing me in a sort of business casual kind of way. We can be friendly with each other. That's great. I'm informally, I do not mind informal pep. Okay. You don't have to be like, dear Mr. Byers. Okay. I'm not a doctor. Don't call me Dr. Byers. I'm a professor. I'm just an instructor. But like you can say, you can email me with like, hey, what's up? How's it going? Sup? All right. Informal tone. If it's a positive tone, I'm cool with. All right. But don't email me with a rude tone. If you're angry about something, or you're upset about something, or you're confused about something, you need to write it in a respectful manner. Okay. It's crazy that the level of rude emails that I will receive sometimes from students. Okay. So if you are rude in your email, I might not even respond. Okay. Or I will tell you that I will reply that you need to retry, that you need to try to write that email again. All right. So let's make sure that we are either professionally toned or jovial. AI. Okay, this class, I do not allow the usage of AI. We don't apply it in the class. All right. At no point is an AI written response acceptable. I can generally tell when people are using AI because AI lacks voice and idiosyncratic wording, which is very common in student writing. Students write in a certain way that's obvious that they're a student. So if your tone is one of a robot, it's very easy to distinguish. And so if your paper, if things that you turn in are suspect of AI usage, then it would not be accepted. Okay. So you can read all that about AI. And then later on, I will do a specific lesson on how I can tell an AI paper versus a non-AI. All right. And I'll go more in depth into that later throughout the weeks. But just understand that AI is unacceptable. The textbook is embedded in the course. I'll show you how to access the textbook in a little bit. All right, grades, here we go. Essay 1, Essay 2, and Essay 3. These add up to 80% of your grade in this class. 3 assignments are worth 80% of the work of your grade in this class. In fact, Essay 1 is the same weight, 20%, of the same weight as all of your other assignments, all of your non-essay assignments added up together. Okay. So the most important things in this class are 3 assignments: SA1, SA2, and SA3. Those are the most. If you make A's on all of those and do nothing else in the class, then you'll still come out with a B. All right. So those are absolutely necessary. Which takes me to my late policy. The due dates listed on the list of assignments and due dates are meant to imply safe dates, meaning that as long as you turn in the work by that point, then your work will be accepted. Okay. The drop boxes for assignments will remain open until I grade the submitted assignments, which means you can turn in your work past the due date as long as the drop box is open and you haven't received a 0. I might start grading the day after an assignment is due, or I might start grading the assignment 4 days later. Who knows? If you turn work in after the due date, but I haven't even started grading the assignment yet, then it isn't considered late. Once I'm finished grading all the submissions for the assignment, I will enter in 0s for those who did not turn in their work, and I will close the drop boxes. So that's the policy. That's the same method for an assignment or for a paper. Your paper might be due on a Monday morning, but if I have 100 papers to grade, it's going to take me a long time to grade all those. So if 75 people turn their essay in on time, those other 25 people who didn't turn their essays in on that yet, they still have my grading period, the time it takes me to grade all those, to still get their papers in. I don't check when things are submitted. I just check that they are there by the time I grade them. Okay. I say that because please do not email me questions or asking for extensions. I do not give formal extensions on any work. You have that grading window. You have that window that it takes me to grade. All right. So essays could take, if I have 4 classes of 25 students. So that's 100 essays if people turn them in. Grading an essay could take me 1 to 2 weeks. I mean, it will take me at least 1 week, but it could take up to 2 weeks for me to grade all those essays. Okay. So your grace period is that grading period. From the time that the essay is due to the time that I'm finished grading, however long it takes, all of that's your grace period. So I do not give formal extensions. You just have to roll the dice and hope that you get it finished before I'm done grading the assignments. All right. You have a total of 15 classwork assignments. This right here, this assignment and discussion posts, is 20%. There's 15 assignments that fall in here, 15. Which means that each one is about 1.4%. That's how much each one is worth, almost, okay? Which means you could not complete 7 assignments. You can get 7 zeros and still get an A in the class if your essays are good enough. In fact, as discussed, the 3 essays that you're going to write this semester are worth a total of 80%. Okay, so as I just said, you still make a B in the class just by doing only the essays, all right? Which means all this is to say that I'm not going to accept a bunch of late classroom assignments that won't even cause you to fail, all right? Those who want an A in this class have to turn their work in on time when it is due. This is the reward for those who work hard. Papers are slightly different because they impact your grade so much. Papers can be turned in within a week of receiving a 0, the highest possible grade of a 70, if there are no errors. But after a week, late papers will not be accepted. If let's say after essay 1 is due, it takes me, let's say it takes 10 days for me to grade all 99 essays. And so you are the one person who did not turn your essay in, and you get a 0. It was due on a Monday, and it took me all of that week, plus Monday and Tuesday of the following week. And so I gave you a 0 on Wednesday, a week and a half after the paper was due. You had a week and a half to try to get that paper turned in, but you didn't. So then you get a 0. and your grade plummets. You have 1 week from that day that I gave you the 0 to turn the paper in. After that, it's a permanent 0. And look, I guess if you do all the assignments and you do all of SA3 and SA2, you can still get an 80 in the class if you don't ever turn in SA1. Oops. If you don't, if you do all the, there are some kids who do all of the work and they do all of they make A's on SA1, SA2, but then they just choose not to do SA3 because they're like, in the end of the semester, I'm done. And then their grade drops to a 65 and they get a D in the class because they made this stupid choice. Okay. And they try to argue, but it's just one assignment. And then I'll say, yeah, that one assignment is 35% of your grade. That was stupid. Okay. Read the rest of this. Make sure you understand all of that. Okay. Those are my additional policies. I'm going to go over this in a moment. Okay, so that's the end of the syllabus section. We'll go back to week 1. After reading my syllabus, all of it, all 3 parts, you need to go on the welcome quiz. And you just begin, and it's one question. It's literally you answer these questions, and there's 4 questions, and you just pretty much hit true, and then you're done. It's very simple. You need to do this in order to be considered present in my class. If you do not complete this welcome quiz by Friday, you'll be dropped from the class. And that's the school policy. That's not even my policy. Okay. All right. So make sure you take the welcome quiz. Next, we're going to go over I want to jump to a PowerPoint now, and then I'll come back to this stuff. The PowerPoint notes I'm about to go over is located right here. Week 1 notes. Okay. So let's do this. Here we go. Okay. English 1101, fall 2024, week 1. All right. So we did welcome to the class. We did navigating the course. Now we're going to do 3, 4, 5 college level paragraphs, MLA formatting, semester, memoir. All right. MLA formatting. This is necessary for this course in 1102. You have to show mastery of it. You lose points if your work and your papers are not in proper MLA formatting. This is the way it looks, just like this. Move this screen here. Okay, this is what your paper will look. It'll have a header, proper heading, title, indented paragraphs. So you gotta have your last name and page numbers in the top right-hand side. Last name, page number. Your heading is your first and last name, my name, the class. I guess this is English 1101. Should change that. And the due date, whatever assignment, the assignment due date. That's what goes in the date. It's not the date that you're writing the assignment. It's the due date. Center your title, and make sure you use indented paragraphs. You'll lose points if you do not use indented paragraphs, or if you have too much space. Double space is it, and you have to actually make your assignment double spaced, not hit enter twice. No extra spaces between paragraphs. This is the most common error, and I'm going to show you in a moment how to avoid it. And then your alignment should be justify alignment, which I'll show you. Common spacing error. Many students turn in papers with incorrect spacing between the sections of their papers. So like this, there's too much space between this title in this paragraph. There's too much space in between this paragraph and that paragraph. This is larger than this. Well, then this is the correct example. See, this additional space has gone away. This is a smaller indentation. So I mean here, these are closer together than here. Okay. All right. So the way we do this, let me just set up a page. I'm just gonna set up a page for you. I utilize Microsoft Word. I know some people don't. Some people use Google Documents, and the process is similar still to that as well. Okay. So when you open your page, the first thing to do is go to paragraph. In here, you line spacing. Line spacing should be double. Before and after should both be 0. 0 before, 0 after. That's where people make their mistake. They leave after at 8. They leave like this. That's incorrect. It should be 0. 0, 0, double. Okay. Then what you do is go ahead and go up to insert page numbers, top of the page, and then you pick the third selection because it's always on the right, and then you type your name, a space, out of it. Okay, and now you do your name, my name, period, or class, due date. Okay, I'm just hitting enter one time. I'm not doing double because I've already said it made double space, so it's exactly how it's supposed to be. Add my title. Okay, and then these up here are your alignments. Most people do this align left. Here, I'm going to show you what that looks like. Let me just pull up an example. So this is correctly formatted. 0, 0, double, last name, and then page number, and all this kind of good stuff. We see this right here. MLA technically requires what's called left alignment. Left alignment is on the left side. You have this, every single sentence begins on the same margin. And then over here on the right side, it's all ragged. It looks like a mountain range. What I like, which I think is the best one to do, is you go here and instead of align left, you go to justify. Ooh, and that cleans up the right side. That cleans up this side. So it looks more like a book. It looks to me, it looks more official. And so align left is the traditional way that people did it with a keyboard, with like a typewriter. But now that we have a computer, I think justify is the best look because it's a printer's style alignment. Okay, so that's how you set up your paper for all your assignments. I'm talking even like your homework assignments need to be formatted to MLA formatting. All right, it needs to be formatted to MLA. Just homework assignments, like the first assignment you're gonna be doing for this class this week needs to be in MLA formatting. All right, I showed that. This is all in the PowerPoint, so that way you can refer back to the notes. This error will cost you points on every assignment it occurs, okay? So if you turn this in for your first assignment, you'll get points off. It needs to be correct formatting, all right? Because if you're unable to produce the correct formatting on your homework assignments, then you're definitely going to end up doing it incorrectly on your papers. So we need to go ahead and nick that in the bud. All right. Okay, so there's that. For the first assignment this week, you need to use proper MLA formatting. The next, you will be writing about an article this week that's posted that you're gonna read. Okay. So you need to understand that when you are writing titles in reference to the things that you'll be discussing this week, that you need to use the proper formatting style for titles. Okay, so quotation marks. If we look at, let's see, this week you are reading this. We're going to be reading this article. Just walk on by. Like man ponders his power to alter public space. Okay, so your first assignment is going to be discussing this article. Okay, and so when you are writing about that this week and you are referring to that article, you need to write it using quotation marks and capital letters. All right, we capitalize the big words. Words are essentially like prepositions, can remain lowercase. But when you are talking about the title of a article, you use quotation marks. Also, if you're writing it, if you're gonna have a comma, commas go inside of quotation marks. They don't go on the outside. All right. So when you are writing the title of this article in your written response, you need to make sure that you are using quotation marks, that you are using capital letters for the first letter of the non-preposition words. And if you need to use a comma, then that comma needs to go inside of the quotation marks. Titles of books, publishing websites, films, magazines, newspapers, albums, TV shows are written in italics. I don't believe this week you'll be referring to a book in any assignment. But if you were to go talk about a book or a newspaper or a TV show, then they would be in italics. Okay. Star Wars, Rolling Stone, The Outsider, Mindhunter. Quotation marks tell us it's a short story or an article. Italics tells us it's an official published piece, like a novel, a nonfiction book, or a newspaper. Okay, this week you will be writing a paragraph or two, I think 2 paragraphs on the article, Just Walk On By. So you'll be writing the title, which needs to be in quotation marks and with capital letters. And then also you'll be writing 2 paragraphs. So here I'm gonna go over the college level expectation for constructing a paragraph. Okay, this is your first step in your college work. So the very first part of a paragraph is your claim, which is the main idea of the paragraph. There's only one claim in a paragraph. The rest of the paragraph is just proving and convincing the audience that the claim being made is legitimate and believable. And that's 20% of your paragraph. The second part of a paragraph is your support. This is contextual support. These are quotes, references, summaries from the text that you're talking about. Use just enough quotes and summary to support your claim and analysis. This shows what part of the text you are discussing, and it serves as evidence. and this is 30% of your paragraph. And then the other 50% of your paragraph, not a paper, but paragraph, is your analysis. This is your explanation of your claim. This is where your paragraph wins or loses. Tell your reader how they need to understand the information. Everything discussed here needs to go back and support the claim and evidence. So let's say we're writing about Mulan, the Disney film Mulan, okay? And you're supposed to explain what is the meaning of Mulan, okay? Well, here's a sample paragraph. This is a college organized paragraph on the theme of Mulan, okay? The entire paragraph is anchored with the first sentence, which is your claim, all right? In the film Mulan, the theme is that women should be seen as equal and respected on the battlefield as much as men. That's the theme. Your claim answers essentially your purpose for writing the paragraph. What is the theme of the film? Well, the theme of the film is that women should be seen as equal and as respected on the battlefield as much as men. Now, we have support. What is the support for this claim? Okay. In the movie, when Mulan's kingdom is threatened by the invasion of the Huns, the men are called to war. Mulan wants to serve too, but she's denied because of her gender. Therefore, she disguises herself as a male in order to fulfill her destiny to be a great warrior. All of that is just summary of the film. That's not opinion, that's not interpretation, that's fact. The Huns, the war, Mulan disguising herself as a male, all of that's fact. None of that is interpretation. Then we have the analysis, the rest of the paragraph. Mulan is confident in her strength and courage as a warrior, but the male-dominated and sexist society that she lives in prohibits her from fighting, even though by surviving and thriving in the war, she proves that women can be as equal or more so than men in war. All of the film doesn't explicitly show people being killed because there are battles fought. It can be understood that people do in fact die in these battles, yet Mulan survives. And if it is understood that she is the only woman fighting in this war, that means she, a woman, has been more dominant in battle than many other male soldiers. With her rising political power as being a princess, combined with the self-assurance and believing that women can handle battle, she'll be a mighty influence in her kingdom at leveling the field of respect paid towards women in battle and society. All that's analysis. That's all interpretation and argument. So it looks like this. This is a collegiate level paragraph. It has a claim, it has some summary, and then the rest of it is all analysis. These are the type of paragraphs that you will be writing. One main idea for every paragraph, and then some support from what you've read, and then explanation. Okay, and that's what you're going to be trying to do this week in the first assignment. Reading analysis assignment 1. On a correctly formatted MLA document, you are going to write 2 paragraphs discussing the Brent Staples essay, Just Walk On By, which is listed in your syllabus, and it's in your textbook, which I'll show you where that is. For each paragraph, decide which mode of writing it contains: narrative, definition, or exemplification. I want you to begin each paragraph with your claim, where you state which mode you'll be discussing, and then go about explaining how it meets the style, support, and why is it effective analysis. Discuss the type of writing, and then pull evidence from the articles that prove those points. Your entire document should be about 300 to 500 words. All right, so look. Here. So if we look at the assignments and due dates first. Your reading for this week, you're supposed to read what is narration and using narration. What is definition and using definition? What is exemplification and using exemplification? So you got to read all those. Then you have to read Just Walk On By. A Black Man Ponders His Power to Alter Public Space by Brent Staples. There's page numbers, page 235. So you got to read, you got to do 5 through 7 before you can complete the assignment. Because I'm not teaching you right now this week about narration or definition or exemplification. You have to read about narration, definition, and exemplification. So here, textbook. Let's see here. This was configured. I'm gonna have to update something. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Achieve ebook. I'm stupid. Achieve ebook. So, okay. So here's our book. I click on ebook. All right. So you were supposed to read chapter 6. Let's see, you're 6, 13, and 8. 6, 13, and 8. So chapter 6 on narration. You don't need to listen. You don't need to read all of those. You just need to read what is narration. Is that stated here? What is narration and using narration? You don't read all of chapter 6. You just read what is narration and using narration. You don't read all of chapter 13, just what is definition and using definition. What is narration? Okay. Read it. And then using narration. And you read that. Then you go to, you can read exemplification. You don't have to read them in order. You can do 6, 8, and then 13. Same thing. Okay. You're teaching yourself what is narration, what is exemplification. All right. What is definition? And then you are going to, let's see, here, you can type the page you want to go to. When you're done reading those 3 things, you got to read the Just Walk On By, which is on page 235. So here you can go 235. And there is the article that you're going to read. Okay. You're going to read that and you're going to decide. You don't got to do these questions. Don't do those questions. Just read the article. And then go to week 1. And this is the assignment. Read the required chapters from the textbook on narrative, definition, and exemplification essays. Read Just Walk On By. A Black Man Ponders His Power to Alter Public Space. Make sure you reread the MLA notes. And then you're going to do this assignment, which I just kind of went over on a correctly formatted document. Okay. You are going to decide which 2 modes of writing, narrative, definition, or exemplification, does Staples use. He uses 2 of them. And then you're going to discuss how you figure that out. You think he uses exemplification because exemplification means this. And in this part of his story, he uses exemplification when he talks about this, blah, 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 blah. And then you're going to discuss why is it effective? Why was that a good use of exemplification? What does that do to the reader? Okay. But you're writing as a paragraph. You're not writing claim, support, analysis. You're writing one whole paragraph, but it should flow. It should flow like this. All right, and then you'll just submit it. If you're writing it, if you're using a Google Doc, you need to download it as a PDF. All right, and then you will submit it here. Now, the last thing to talk about is, okay, I provide you a little frame. Okay, in the article, Just Walk On by Brent Staples. I'm sorry. In the article, Just Walk On By, Brent Staples uses narration or exemplification in his essay to blank the readers, move the readers, impress the readers, elicit an emotional response from the readers. He uses this mode of writing most effectively when he describes, and then there's an example from the story. I think this was a good use of this mode because, so this is called a frame. This frames your writing in a way where we have this first sentence is your claim, the second one is your support, and then this last part is your analysis. So you can use that if that helps you. All right, final thing, semester memoir. Essay 3 will be written about a memoir that you read this semester. You need to pick a memoir, and a memoir is a nonfiction story about someone's life. It's written by them. It's not a biography. It's written by someone talking about their life. So it reads like a novel in the first person, but it is a person telling their story. You need to pick a memoir that deals with a person struggling with a conflict that you can research and discuss. Your third and final paper will be about this conflict topic, and part of your essay will be using the memoir in your discussion. So you need to find a memoir that deals with a conflict, such as poverty, physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, trauma, drug abuse, God, religion, gender, racial, or sexual discrimination, etc. Finding someone telling their story about them overcoming something. Okay, I'm gonna show you some examples. You need to figure this out this week because in week 2, you'll have to fill out a form indicating which memoir you're picking. Okay. In the week, right here, you have memoir options. You don't have to pick these. These are just some good suggestions of books that I read that were really good. Okay. This one deals a lot. And I'm not gonna read all these out to you because you have eyes, you can read. I think you're probably tired of hearing my voice. So these are some memoirs that are good. For each memoir, I give you the title, who it is by, a little picture, and then a little blurb. She discusses her life as a child actress. The issues discussed in this book are manipulative parents, OCD, anorexia, and bulimia. This one is about, this one's a little bit different because it's not really, well, it doesn't really matter. This story is about a hermit. It deals with issues of anti-socialism, survivalism, personality disorders, and crime and punishment. Okay, so you can read through all of these, and I give you the little topics that they're about. You can find one that sounds interesting. You don't have to read any of these. You could just read. You can pick your own memoir that you know of. Okay, and so, or you can email me and say I don't like any of these, but do you have any other suggestions? Okay, so but all of these are ones that I've read, and the good thing about if you pick one that I've read, then if you have problems or need help, I can help you more easily if you have picked a memoir that I'm familiar with, So that's the final thing you gotta do this week is try to figure them out. And I'm not providing any of these memoirs. You will have to check it out from the library or purchase a copy from Amazon. Okay, so that's it. That's week 1. That's everything you need to do this week. All right. I hope you found this helpful. I hope this was, informative. Next week when I do my next lecture, I hope I feel better and I don't sound like a robot. Sorry. If you have any questions, send me an email. And I'll get back to you. All right. Hope you all have a good week one, and let me know how it goes.